All right. So let me throw the use case out there, and then I'll solicit feedback about how you guys would accomplish this, and then maybe you have a better idea than what I ended up coming up with. But let's just say, just to keep things simple, let's just say you have the opportunity object. You get a whole bunch of opportunities in Salesforce, and you want to prevent your users from being able to edit or like modify any opportunity with a close date that's before a certain date. Right now, you might say to yourself, okay, well, we could easily do that with like a validation rule or like just a flow where we put the date in there, right? Um, but the problem with that is if you want, like, there's a business user, maybe it's like the sales, the VP of sales or whatever, is the person that needs to be able to control what this date is. Like maybe they validate some stuff on the current closed opportunities, and then they need to be able to say, okay, I did my review today. I'm going to lock everything in as of today. So from today's date back, we're not going to be able to change anything. So a validation rule, while that might work, that would require them to have like admin privileges or submit a ticket where somebody has to go in and modify the validation rule with the new date. So where would you actually give them the ability to like maintain a date on their own without admin privileges where it'll lock basically any opportunity that's older than that date? What would be the approach that you could take?
There is a formula.
Label.
I heard label. I heard formula. Formula, they would still need to have admin access to be able to modify the formula. They could combine those two approaches where you could have a custom label that is referenced in a formula. But tell me, can they update a label without admin privileges?
No. Yeah. I guess I've used records for similar stuff. Like how you can use custom metadata or custom settings. You
Yeah.
could have like an admin record where you can give them control of all kinds of cool things.
So that's kind of the direction that I headed down. Let me actually share my screen and I'll kind of show you how I would tackle this or how I did tackle this. So if I look at, so what I would do is in setup, I went to custom settings. I created a new, not get usage. I did a new custom setting and I called this like configs or whatever you want to call it, right? So configs, configs, make it public. It's gonna, you can't select list anymore. So hierarchy, that's the one that we're actually looking for anyway. So that's good. So we create the custom setting. This is essentially, think of that like an object that we just created called configs. And then in here, I'm going to create a new date field. And we're going to call this op lock date, something like that. And we'll not make it required. All right, so now we have the custom setting. And then what I did was I went into Flow
Hmm.
and I basically gave them a mechanism whereby they can update that date. So we'll do screen flow. We'll create a screen. And actually, first thing I'll do is do a get. So we'll get the op lock setting. So we'll look for the config object. And I forget, I think, forget what you actually have to enter here. I think it's like, I thought there was a location field. And you say the location is equal to, let's say running org.id or something like that.
Hmm.
I'll have to get back to that. But basically, we want the org default. We don't want to have like user specific settings, but let me confirm that. But just to kind of show you this, right? So it gets the custom setting entry here. Then we present them with a screen, which is update the date screen. And on the screen, we put a date input value. We set the default value to the date for the record that we just got. So the config from get whatever config block date. So that's what it's going to default to.
Yeah, I wonder if
Uh,
fields would work for that. Just curious. No.
Fields. Oh, like
Yeah,
over here. Yeah,
yeah, the
that's
fields
a good
tab.
point.
It doesn't
Yeah,
work everywhere, but it works in some places.
yeah. So I will try that in a sec here. So we'll do up block date done. And then again, there's all kinds of checks you might want to do in here, but I'm just going to throw an
Mm,
update records in there.
yeah.
So update the lock date, and we update that. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to verify that that thing actually works. So this is update opportunity lock date. All right, so that's saving. In theory, if I didn't do anything dumb, that'll actually go through successfully, which it did. We don't see any kind of errors here, which is great. And then in theory, I should be able to do run. And then actually debug would probably be the better option. So I want to see if it actually finds the record. If
And
it's not going
unless you found
to,
found it on
yeah.
your own, you had asked how to run debug again. You click setup next to details, and you can just run it again without having to go back out of here.
Oh,
I just
nice.
remember you brought that up on one call.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna actually take a step back here because I'm realizing I never actually created the first one. So if we do custom
Oh,
settings,
oh, did you just show it and then?
no, no. So I created it. I created the field, but before there's actually anything there, we want to go to manage. So right now, nothing exists, not even the org default.
Yeah.
So I'm going to create new, and we're going to say the op block date is due May 1st. So now when we look at our setting, we can actually see that initial one's there, that org level default one is there now. Um, so now that we have that in place, if we go back into our flow, and I'm going to give us a, oh, that's what you're just saying, go to setup. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do debug. I'm going to run. It found May 1st. So it looks like it actually found the one that we created. So now if I change this to May 29th, click next, it finished. And if I,
Yeah,
what do you say now?
setup,
Set up,
and
run.
now just run it again. And you could change your inputs there again if you needed, if you had inputs.
Yeah. And I think this goes back to
Ah,
your
it
point.
didn't.
So it didn't actually update, but I think there's a good reason for that because exactly what you mentioned here. So if I go to edit flow right now, I just have a field on the screen and then I never actually updated the actual record. So I'm going to do assignment. We're going to say
Oh, yeah.
set the new value. We're going to say this config dot block date is equal to whatever lock date that we have on the screen. So that was the key piece that was missing there. And now, and actually, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this right back to here. So that way I don't have to reset every time. All right. So now when we debug this, we do a run. It's got May 1st. I could change that to May 29th. Click save. And there it is. Now it's got the updated value. And if you don't believe me, we go back to here and I refresh. You can now see that updated values right there. Now, so all that is basically that you now have a screen flow that you could put like on a lightning page or a home tab that your user would be able to edit that custom setting entry to set whatever date that they like. They don't need admin privileges to be able to see that screen flow. And then now that we have that in place, it would just be as easy as going into the opportunity object and creating a validation rule that says that we are going to throw an error if the close date, so we grab the close date, is less than, and then this is kind of the magical part. You should be able to go to, you should see your custom setting entries right there. And I grab that org
Yeah.
lock date, and there you go. So now if we try to edit an opportunity, op is older than lock date. Go. Right?
We actually delivered something like this when I was at my previous employer, Bill, with a lot more stuff on it. And it was they needed to be able to run certain things at certain times, and then reset stuff, and between certain dates, stuff needed to work. So we did it with settings, and then we let power users have access to the flow. You could hide the flow on the homepage and only show it to someone with certain custom perms. So it's very cool. And um, custom metadata types can't do that because you can't update those from the flow. You can just reference them.
Yeah.
Whereas you can deploy custom metadata types and you can't deploy custom settings. So there's trade-offs, but custom settings are nice for this. I'm real glad you're sharing this.